Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Thursday edition of Morning Scone, presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic Parish Construction and Roofing. You need an orthopedist, go to Brock. Remember, the free Friday night clinic returns tomorrow, all throughout the high school football season. Anyone injured on Friday night lights can go see a doctor for free over at the free Friday night clinic over at Brock on Blue Bot. Of course, Parish Construction and Roofing. Love to give you that free, no obligation roofing inspection. Parishbuilt.com. Unique Physique, uniquephysique.com. Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com. And Boatcock Brothers Premium Cigars. Use code MAT15, MAT15, MAT15 for 15% off your order. Okay, y'all, good morning. Brian Kelly on the SEC Coaches Teleconference on Wednesday did in fact disclose that Garrett Nussmeier will play against Southeastern. There have been some question with the torso, blobbity bloop. Would he sit? Here was BK on Wednesday.
Yeah, I think he needs to play, and Garrett wants to play. He's capable of playing. As I said, the torso injury slowed him up, and it slowed up in some instances the development of the offense too, because we needed to be very careful with him. And we knew we had two, in particular, very, very difficult games with Clemson on the road and a charged up Florida team. So, we dialed back practice. We dialed back what we were doing to make sure that we protected him. But he's now on the other side of it because we were able to do that. And so this week is an opportunity for him. He's doing some things in practice he hasn't done in the last month. So we're pretty excited about what he could do this weekend.
So there's you won at Clemson at home against Florida with a lesser Garrett Nussmeier, a scaled back Garrett Nussmeier. And now he's through that. He's on the other side, as Brian Kelly said, closer to whole. So he wants to play. He's going to play. So I'm good with that. I just want to make sure that we all understand, all right, expectations now are different because I can understand why you've won the way you've won in those two games. You scaled back Nuss. You didn't have as much time to prepare. You're protecting him during the week, all that stuff. Okay. Well, now if he's through it and good enough to play, let's see you open up the offense. Dial up a few shots. Shot. So Nussmeier will play against Southeastern, and Trevor Penning back at practice. Limited, but back at practice, which is good to see with his toe. He's got a toe. So Penning back at practice, but Dylan Radden's not at practice. So the guy that replaced Trevor Penning is now hurt. Who dat? Hey, Jeremy, good morning. Tiger Poppy, good morning. Hey, Patrick, good morning. Hope it's a great one. Yeah, man. Will be. We all woke up today. Our feet hit the floor. Jared, Abner, good morning. Kelly, Bubba, Mike, good morning, everybody. Hope y'all are having a great start to your day. Hope everybody's having a great week. Hey, Brian, Clayton, good morning. Thomas, what's up, man? Good morning. Joshua, finally catching one live. There it is, man. Hey, man, 6:45 a.m. till about 7:15. It's where you catch us weekdays. Weekends varies. Really depends on what time Drew decides to wake up and what we're going to do. But thanks for being here, man. Great to see you. Hey, Pat, good morning. Daniel, morning. Most of these transfers will be gone next year. Are there any that might return? Well, I think I would probably more look and say, like, who is able to return. So, for example, like Josh Thompson is out of eligibility. Barian Brown's out of eligibility. Power Sharp's out of eligibility. Patrick Payton, Jack Pyburn, Jamari Butler, Bernard Gooden, all out of eligibility. AJ Halsey's out of eligibility. So the only ones that really are able to return would be, she told me to leave that unbuttoned. I think this needs to be buttoned. What do y'all think? She told me to unbutton it. I think that needs to be buttoned. What do y'all think? So the ones that would be able to return would be Braylon Moore, Mansour Delane, Grant Chadwick, the punter. He's got like 3 more years. So or 2 after this. He was a freshman last year, so he's got 3 years at LSU to punt. But Mansour Delane, Tamarcus Cooley, and Braylon Moore, and Nick Anderson could return as well. Those would be the ones that could return. And they'll, I guess, just have some NFL decisions to make, 18. All right. The big 1-8. Jinglegate cannot buy cigarettes today, right? Can buy a lottery ticket. Hey, Bailey, good morning. Josh Pate said that BK flushed out anyone who had Louisiana ties when he got here. He also implied he was forced to make certain hires. Based on what you said, this doesn't seem accurate. So I didn't hear what Josh Pate said. I'm not sure what Josh is referring to. I mean, the forced to make certain hires, I think like there were certainly things like Frank Wilson, for example. Like he was going to have a connection to New Orleans. He was going to have Louisiana connections on his staff. It's pretty easy to see who the guys were. I mean, like Brad Davis was the only coach that was retained. It was Frank Wilson was the one that was obviously brought back. But you can look at that first staff and see who Brian Kelly wanted, who he brought with it. He hired Mike Denbrock, Robert Steeples, just the Kerry Cooks brought with him from Notre Dame. I mean, it was pretty obvious to see, who were the ones that were BK guys and who were the ones that were either stayed or were, encouraged. Like I'll tell you, Austin Thomas, that was not Brian Kelly's preference. I mean, that was Scott Woodward hired Austin Thomas. And Kelly even said a few weeks ago, very candidly, that, it wasn't, that's never something he wanted, was to have a general manager and cede that control over the roster and stuff like that. But it just, in this current day of college football, it's not possible for the head coach to do all that stuff. You have to have someone who's monitoring that and managing salary cap, rev share, whatever, all that stuff. So now, as far as flushed out anyone with Louisiana ties, I don't think that's necessarily true. I mean, he did turnover, had massive turnover within football ops. I mean, there were like 40 people in football ops that were not retained. But a lot of people who'd been, I mean, Sharon Lewis was one, who then ultimately, did Sharon sue? I don't know. Anyway, I mean, there were a lot of people at football ops, support staff, personnel. I mean, everybody was evaluated. And a lot of people were turned over when he got here. But I think you're probably thinking more like coaching staff. Hey, Warren, good morning from Claremont, Florida. Jesse, good morning. I agree, Florida needs to fire Jaluk now. Yeah, I mean, I have a completely different tone on that now that I've seen the video. And I was being very measured yesterday until I saw the video. I was told that Jaluk hit a player. I had not seen the video. I was told that secondhand, right? I was told that from someone who saw it, but I hadn't seen it. I told you, until I see it, I'm not going to make a judgment. Well, watching Jabbar Jaluk open hand slap Joel Rogers in the face, there was, I mean, 50 years ago, Woody Hayes got fired for punching a kid at Clemson, punching a Clemson player when Ohio State was playing Clemson. And that was in an era when things like that were acceptable. You had two-a-days, you had junction boys, you had, get tough. I mean, people were allowed to smoke on planes. Like, we made a lot of dumb societal decisions then. And even then, Woody Hayes got fired. His career ended because of that. Like, the people defending Jaluk or trying to make some type of excuse is just mind-boggling. Chance, Jaluk needs to be fired. Showed the slapped in the game on ABC. Never mentioned it was a coach. Austin, good morning. We're going to the Florida coach who struck a player. I don't think getting fired is enough either. I want charges for assault if that was my son. Austin, I'm not sure I would press charges. Maybe. I'm not saying I wouldn't. But, I mean, you have an adult who is entrusted with these young people, you know? I mean, coaches, teachers, like these are people who you send your children. And I hear people say, "Oh, he ain't a child, he's grown." Like Joel Rogers is a sophomore in college. Like, I get it. He's old enough to buy a lottery ticket, but he's also a dependent, and his parents sent him to LSU, trusting the coaches will watch over him, take care of him, all that sort of stuff. The same way that all of us send our children to school every day or wherever it may be. And like, what if a teacher, what if there was video of a teacher slapping your child in class? Just open hands, pow, just slap him right in class, nose to nose, and just slapped him in the face. Or a principal or an administrator. How is this any different? Make offense go. You need to make up your mind. Make offense great again. Morning, Matt. I hope Nuss doesn't have to play the second half. Would like to see Kern get some reps. See the young guys, Jim Coyley and Moses, play. So remember, Keelan Moses is hurt. I don't know that he's going to play. I don't know that Keelan's played at all this year. I need to check. He got hurt in camp. It was a foot ankle thing. Let me check. I want to check right now to see if he's taken a snap. I don't know that he has. Yeah, he has not taken a snap. He has not played yet. I don't know that that's because he was on a bunch of the special teams units. Like I think the reason he hasn't played is the injury, but I'll check. But Jim Coyley, Charles Ross, CJ Ross, I mean, some of those young linebackers are impressive. Like I know I talked about it in camp, but you're seeing it a little bit now. I mean, you've seen everybody's seen Devon Keys, but we talked about Tylen Singleton making plays all throughout camp. He got to play a little the other night. Zach Weeks running around making plays. You know, Jim Coyley, Ross, Moses, like they got a good young core of linebackers, man. Those guys are going to be exciting to watch. Hey, Craig, good morning. Day one, morning Scone. What do you mean day one? This isn't day one. Jason Horn, morning. Crank it up. Dale. Suck it, Dale. Sean, SE will be taking cheap shots. I don't get risking more of an injury. Why do you say they'll be taking cheap shots? Like, I haven't known Southeastern to be a dirty team. What are you talking about? And by the way, nobody knows what the injury is. It's just torso. So how are you going to take a cheap shot if you don't know where to hit him? I don't know, Sean. Jacob, good morning. Rai, good morning. Ryan, good morning. Enjoy the game Saturday. Looking forward to Kelly and Kiffin, like pulling each other's strings. Is Kelly setting Lane up to take a fool to school? I don't know necessarily, but what you're saying, what I do believe is Ole Miss's defense is not very good. If you've watched them, and I have, and I think LSU should roll in that game because I'm also not impressed by either of Ole Miss's quarterbacks. I know Chambliss filled in, but Arkansas's defense stinks too, and Austin Simmons was not very good until he got hurt. Hey, Sean, Rattler MVP. God. Tim, good morning. Steven, good morning. Hadley, good morning. Hey, Dad, good morning. Jordan, do you feel like you can trust people that you called about Garrett's injury? You know, I've thought about that, Jordan, and I think as I look back through it, I think a lot of it was probably semantics because he was practicing and he did play. And Brian Kelly said he wasn't limited in the games. And so when you say, you know, like it's nothing, there's nothing to it. He practiced, he's throwing. Well, he was practicing, he was throwing, he did play. And so, maybe I needed to ask better questions. I mean, I could be self-reflective there and and think like, should I have been asking better questions? Like, but it's really hard though. So I mean, you think of it this way: just like it's hard now with the benefit of hindsight, but think of it this way: so you go to practice, the quarterback doesn't throw. Coach, who's very forthcoming about injuries, says it's load management. We track his reps, all that sort of stuff. It's a certain number of throws, and Jack Marucci and his staff are tracking every throw that he makes, and want to make sure he's not overloaded, and so scale back. And this is the same training staff that makes those guys wear their little vests that track heart rate and output and everything, right? I mean, they measure the acclimatization during fall camp, how they ramped everything up, load. I mean, all that is so measured and scientific now. And so he doesn't throw on a Friday. So I start asking, and they're like, nothing to it. He's good. He's good. And the next day, he scrimmages fully. What would you think? Do you think he's injured, or do you think that they're just charting his throws? I mean, I just think it was something they were very measured with. I think it's like, I truly believe, this isn't lip service. I really believe this is it's a thing in that it's something they're aware of, but I don't think it's anything that limited Garrett in any way other than anything else. Like, he wasn't even on the injury report. Like, if Brian Kelly hadn't said Monday he'd been dealing with a torso injury, this isn't even a conversation. Because he's played fully. He doesn't look like he's been limited in any way. Like, in the same way that everybody made a big deal out of the knee thing, the knee tendonitis, which is nothing. I mean, it's a thing in that it's literally something, but it's nothing that's limiting him in any way anymore. I mean, like, Braylon Moore dealing with a high ankle sprain is far more significant than Garrett Nussmeier's knee tendonitis.
Parrish Construction and Roofing. At Parrish, we've got you covered. From the top of your roof, all the way down. Parrish Construction and Roofing. Parrish built. Parrish built. Parrish built. From your hometown. ParrishBuilt.com.
Anyway, I know that's not the answer anybody wants. I know that's not the answer anybody's going to believe. I know everybody wants to think, oh, it was the reason the offense stinks is Nuss has had this injury that they've been hiding. And I mean, I just think it's one of those things where Kelly said he had tightness, so they scaled back so as not to exacerbate it, understanding what they had coming up at the first 3 weeks, and only now is disclosing it, which feels like it's a bit of an explanation for the offense struggling, when I don't think it's necessarily the inability to throw the football. I think it's been more your inability to run the football that's been the problem. It has nothing to do whatsoever with Garrett Nussmeier having a tight torso. Anyway, I know everybody's got their own opinions on it, but I'm not going to change anybody's mind. So let's just hope they go out there and are really efficient this weekend and score a bunch of points and all that stuff. All right, Matt, JD, good morning. Love the podcast. Just thank you, man. Appreciate that very much. Jesse, saw the NCAA stop the spring transfer portal. Are we seeing a shift in how players are able to transfer in the future? Well, yeah. I mean, and they moved the December portal window to January. So it's going to be a 10-day window in January, which I don't like. By the way, I do have a video on overtime with Matt Scone about that and why it's not a good idea. Hey, Clayton, y'all got any more of the COVID eligibility years left? I don't know, man. I think this is the final year for the COVID year guys that were freshmen, like Jamari Butler, for example, was a COVID eligible guy. Jacobian Guillory was a COVID year. He's a 6-year guy. So, hey, Brant, good morning. Ole Miss offense isn't as potent as last season, right? Wonder if LSU will be favored in that game. Yes, LSU will be favored in that game. I think they are. The look-ahead lines, maybe LSU 2.5 or 3. Hey, Pat, any firings happening through the night? Nope, not talking about political platforms. Not that I know of, man, but I would love to see people continue to crank up the pressure on Florida because you just can't give tacit approval to that. It's a joke. And you just put yourself in the context of what if that was your child, and the conversation immediately changes for everybody. Make offense great. Want to put Caleb Jackson in the heavy set where Pyburn was. Yeah, I don't think Caleb Jackson's a blocker. Dustin, always go with the top unbuttoned. Yeah, I just think with this shirt, and this is a Task brand, which I love, it's just a very thin, light, breathable material. It just flops. That's all. Prods up. Good morning, Matt. Let's see. Thinking Nuss will play a regulated game plan as predictable as defense will keep the game in check. I think they're going to try to go stretch the field, honestly. Weston, good morning. Once the video surfaced, the Florida coach, loved your take on firing him. Do you think Florida will actually do it, or the NCAA is going to get involved? I don't know about the NCAA. Candidly, Weston, I don't know what jurisdiction the NCAA has. Like, the NCAA can't tell schools to fire people. I mean, I hope people, like logical thinking people, right-minded people, continue to put pressure on Florida to do the right thing. And it's just a shame they didn't do the right thing from jump. Hey, Jeffrey, good morning. Brad, Quentin, good morning. Thomas, who's going with you to Nashville for AFR? I think Alondra's going to Tech, so she'll be the on-site tech for it. And then me, Gordy will be there. And doesn't really take a crew. You know, you can set up pretty seamlessly now. Hey, Brant, if LSU doesn't put up 40-plus points this weekend, concerns go way up for you. I don't know, Brant, that I would like put a hard, fast number on it like that. For example, like, what if they're up 38-0 at half and then they just don't score in the second half? They empty the bench and they just don't score. Okay. So I don't know. I would say hard and fast, like 40. But, I mean, I think they will. Like, hang on. Like up until 2019, I think we'd all agree 2011 was the most dominant team we'd ever seen, right? They played Western Kentucky November the 12th and won that game 42-9. Now they hit 40, but at halftime that was 14-7. It's 14-7 at half. I mean, that team was in a 14-7 ball game with Western Kentucky at half. You know what I mean? Sometimes just games like that are sluggish, but I would love to see him get started early. I think that's more what I'm looking for. Survivor's Wars. BK contradicts himself, said he chewed the offensive coaches for the performance, but says the QB is hurt. Why do that if the quarterback's hurt, especially when he's limiting Joe's calls? When did he say he chewed the offensive coaches? Because what I heard him say on Monday, what he said on Monday was, you know, they went into the post-game locker room and the defensive coaches were excited and the offensive coaches were maybe a little hesitant, thinking they were going to get chewed out, but he didn't like that. He didn't want them to think they were, that he didn't do that. So they won the game. Unless there's something that I'm missing, where he said he chewed them out. Hey, Bobby, good morning. Disappointing LSU baseball's conference draw. Definitely one of the toughest in the league. Do you think baseball will ever go to football scheduling route? What do you mean football scheduling round? I mean, I don't think so. I mean, you mean like by permanent opponents? I mean, I think with LSU, they got a relatively easy home draw. So you got to make hay at home. You got a tough road draw. But who is like Oklahoma, I think, has a brutal schedule. There's nothing easy in the SEC. But anyway. Let's see. BK limiting the offense with a fifth-year, second-year starting quarterback in the same offense is more of an insult to Nuss than Joe Sloan. The thing you're not considering, though, is the offensive line. And that's for me, my biggest contention, and has been all the way along. I believe, look, LSU did not give up a sack against Florida. That's a fact. So, too, is it a fact that Garrett Nussmeier threw 16 passes within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage. 6 behind the line of scrimmage. 6 behind the line of scrimmage and 10 from the line of scrimmage within 10 yards. Like, there were 5 passes between 10 and 20 yards and 3 passes that went 20 yards in the air. That's it. 3. Like, I think they are protecting that offensive line more than they're protecting us. That's my opinion. And you can't say that that's a hindsight 2020 view, because I went to every fall camp practice that they gave us availability. I gave you reports after every practice. I shared my notes. We sat here and I said over and over and over again, the defense looks awesome. They're overwhelming the offensive line, but the offensive line does well in their one-on-one pass block drills. Well, what are they good at right now? LSU is one of the highest rated pass blocking offensive lines. They score high on Pro Football Focus. Keeping Nussmeier upright. They can't run the football. They get, like, when the pass rushes came against LSU in fall camp, they were trying to extend things. There was pressure. Like, I think they're protecting their offensive line. That's what I think. I think the offensive woes are far more about this offensive line and trying to protect the line more than it was trying to protect Garrett Nussmeier. And I think Brian Kelly is effectively telling you that as well. I mean, he was asked about yesterday in the SEC coaches teleconference. He basically said he wants to be a better offense in November than they are in September. And then later in the teleconference, he was asked, okay, well, how do you become better in November than in September? Again, nothing about a specific position group. He said, Kelly said he wants to be. Here was Kelly.
It has started a little bit slower than we had wanted, but internally, very bullish on where we can be. And I want to be better in November. If we're better in November than we are in September, offensively, with the kind of defense that we can play and we know that we will play, it's going to be a really good football team.
Okay. He wants to be wants to be better in November than in September. So follow up. How do you get better in November than in September?
The technical is very important. We have really 5 new starters on the offensive line. And, with that comes so much technical work, communication, working together as one unit. And that's the work that's in front of us. But they're willing, and they work their tails off. And I believe that if we just stay the course and keep demanding in the right manner in a positive coaching environment, better at our technique, getting off the ball, working together as one, communicating effectively, and then from a coaching standpoint, putting them in a good position. So it works both ways. That's why I'm excited to go to work every day, because these guys are so into this and want to be better. And I believe that we're going to be a better football team as each week goes by.
The whole thing was about the offensive line. He didn't say we got to get Nuss healthy. He didn't say we got to run better routes. He didn't say we need our running backs to hit the hole better. The whole thing was about the offensive line getting better. I think they understand that's their big hang up right now. Anyway, and he's still demanding Joe Sloan be balanced, where the tendency would be, okay, if you don't trust your offensive line right now, you're struggling to run block, all that sort of stuff, learn assignments, everything, then let's just throw it. We got all these receivers. We got Nuss. And he's not. They're staying balanced. They're scaling back, and they're winning games so they have to win. I think they'll keep getting better. So, let's see. Anyway. All right, 7:15. I'm going to go. Yo, thanks for watching. Please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. All of our sponsors are linked in the description on YouTube. Locked on LSU is live. Tons of good stuff there, so please check it out. We'll see you for AFR 3. Have a great day.